guys, xbeybae here. Just wanted to talk to you guys about my experience at Toronto Regionals this year. Also, still decided to bring Lucci. We're gonna do three things for this video. One, we're gonna talk about the deck list. Two, we're gonna open up whatever packs I was able to get. And then three, we're gonna talk about matchups. All right, as you guys already know, I am a Lucci player, so we're gonna talk about my Lucci deck list. Yeah, you see my leader, okay. Just a small thing. We recently got this little keychain gift from a friend. So very, very sick, very, very cool. We're also repping it. And of course, you can't forget the little Lucci little figure. All right, let's talk about my list. I want to talk about 2Ks first, and then we'll talk about engine. We'll talk about different tech pieces that I ran for this tournament. And then I think like my events. So let's see. In terms of 2Ks, I am specifically running, I'm running 3 Grandmas, 3 Suru. I'm running 4 Toy Soldier. I'm running 1 Barto, and I'm running 2 Who's Who. Reason for the ratios. I thought I was going to run into a lot more Rayleighs. That's the only reason why I would add Suru back to the list. If you saw my list, I didn't run into a single Rayleigh. So the Suru was actually kind of useless. There was like one scenario where it did use the Suru, but it didn't feel good at all. And I think it was against Shanks. Like I said, felt so bad. The Toy Soldiers felt a lot better, but the problem was I don't really want to use a 2-cost ever, especially a 2K. So if I had the option, like I probably would have dropped more Surus and added back to Bartos and Who's. But like I said, I thought I was going to play Rayleigh, which is why I added the Surus back in the list. Because Suru into the Rayleigh matchup, just to help reduce like low cost, like it's perfect. It's so strong. But I didn't see a single, a single Rayleigh. In terms of cutting the Bartos and the Who's, it's just like I need to be able to tech for the other matchups. And Who's Who isn't really too strong into any of the matchups. Like, it's good into maybe green if for whatever reason the Zoro or the Bonnie player misplays, and then you play Who's Who off trigger to pop a Tashigi or a Koshiro. But otherwise, like, Who's doesn't really have any value outside of that. And then the Bartos I cut because I just needed more space. Like I said, if I was able to cut the Surus, I'd go up on the Bartos and the Who's. But I had to play the Suru because I was anticipating Rayleighs. But I think the Rayleighs didn't want to insta-lose to yellow, so that's why they didn't play it at all. In terms of engine, we are running 2 Mancherry because we had to drop the Mancherry from 3. We're running 4 Brook, probably the most crucial card in the deck that you want to see like every game. The next card you want to see every game is going to be for Rebecca. We also have 4 Lucci. I was heavily debating on cutting down to 3 Lucci, but I just found like the consistency of Lucci to just like pop 2 things and set up reduction with other things. Like I just seemed way too consistent to not run Lucci at 4. So I ran Lucci at 4, but otherwise the consideration was dropping like 1 Lucci for either reduction or for like a 1K or 2K. It's up in the air. I am running 3 Jack. We were running 4 Jack, but like I said, we had to change some pieces because 4 Jack is 2 brick and 2 Jack is like just not consistent. So we needed to add some other tech pieces for Zoro matchups and other matchups that we came across it. And we are down to 3 still on 10-cost Kuzan. This is easily like one of the strongest game closers in the deck. The minute you can get a 10 cost down safely and you're healthy, like you'll probably win the game most of the time. But if you put this 10 cost down in like a pretty dire situation, like you will end up getting heavily punished. Which for us specifically, we didn't really get punished by playing 10 costs. It was mainly like our entire like mid or early game was like super rough. So we couldn't really either get to play the 10 costs. For instance, into the Kuzan matchup or for the Shanks matchup, because it just gets like either removed or completely ignored because it doesn't matter. But for the most part, for all the matchups that it did matter for like for Zoro, for the Lucci matchup, like this 10 cost was God's given gift. So super, super useful. That's my engine. Let's talk about our reducers right after. We are running still 2 Uta. I'm a big fan of Uta. I think this is single-handedly one of the best 2-drops to play, excluding another 2-drop, which we'll talk about. Uta is just way too good. Can't be killed by leader. -2. It's just like, for 2 costs, it's consistent. It does the job. And the only way the opponent can get rid of the Uta is with another character, right? So it's perfectly strong into Zoro. And it's just good into most leaders in general, right? Because like they can't get rid of this unless they use removal or if they swing it with a character. We cut it down to 3 Kuzan and we stayed at 4 Laboon. Now, I know there's a lot of lists and ratios because some people go 4 Kuzan, some people go 3 Laboon. I found for most of the matchups, Kuzan did me more harm than good. It's nice to get a card off of Kuzan and draw, but especially in this new format in OP12, where if you're against Zoro, you rest and swing, and then you're into who was it? There's another leader. 6 cost Kuzan from blue Kuzan, like freezes a 4 cost and they can't attack. Or if you're even against Carrot, like you get a lot more instant value with the Laboon. Because you just play the Laboon and you rest. And then all of a sudden, like, you gain value off of the -4. But the Kuzan, like, you don't get as much value off of the reduction. You're just playing Kuzan for the draw. And it's not really that important because you, as Lucci, still want to remove stuff as soon as possible, right? So the Laboons I found were a lot more useful, which is why I ran them at 4 and Kuzan at 3, because we needed to cut it for some extra tech pieces. Other than that, my reducers, that's that. Next is going to be our engine, or no, not our engine. Next is going to be our events and our tech pieces as well. So, core, 4 Tempest. We have to run 4 Tempest. I think it's single-handedly still one of the best cards in the deck. You just draw. And if you have enough in trash, then you minus. It's very strong. It's very good. And for 1 down especially. We're running 2 Black Vortexes. And let me tell you, Black Vortexes in the Zoro matchup is so good. The amount of times this Black Vortex has actually like saved my run, which is how I beat 2 different Zoros, right? Like this Black Vortex is actually like insane once you learn how to like properly use it on certain turns. It's way too good. Moving forward, I don't know if there's still going to be Zoros. And I still don't know if I'm going to be playing Lucci in the future because OP13 does not look good for Lucci at all. Emu looks a little too strong. So if it's like open format, maybe I might play Lucci in a few matches here and there. But moving forward, I don't know if Lucci will survive in 13. Yeah. Which means we might have to play a different leader. I'm very interested in playing Emu because it's still black and it's still removable. In terms of the new pieces or tech pieces, adjustments that we made, 2 Cobra. Just the idea of not only is it a chum blocker, but it trashes a card off of the top. It's pretty good. Especially for early turn, if I don't have Tempest and I don't have Uta, like I'm going to run the Cobra. And it's pretty good. It's not bad. I found myself using the Cobra a lot more than I thought I would. Because I tried Cobra in locals. It felt really bad. Like I just could never get any value of the card. But at regionals, like I swear, there's like easily like 4 or 6 rounds where the Cobra like came in handy and it just like became a chump blocker. It was perfect. It was great. We're running 1 Hina, 1 Shirahoshi, and 1 Sabo. Now, I know some Lucci lists like completely cut the Sabo for regionals, right? I'm running 1 Hina because you just need to see 1. It's fine. And you can cycle off of Rebecca. And Shirahoshi at 1 because it's another blocker and you can see it off of Rebecca as well. Or even like Man Cherry if you want to reduce it that way. And the reason I'm still only running 1 Sabo is because low-key, I had a gut feeling I was going to play into the mirror. And guess what? I played the mirror. Now, personally, I didn't run the Sabo because I couldn't see it. But I already had 10 costs and I already had Jack and I was on even curve. So I was like, okay, I don't really need the Sabo unless he has it. If he has the Sabo, then okay, I'll deal with it. But otherwise, like, the only reason I have the Sabo is like if I ran into the mirror. And I did, but I didn't even get to play it. Anyways, that's my list. We got 5-5 at Toronto. I'm feeling very impressed that we did as well as we did. Considering, like, you know, Lucci's completely not favored at all in OP12. But moving forward, I don't know if I'll play Lucci, only because it's not that, like, you know, I don't have fun playing Lucci. Lucci's like so fun. But it's the idea of, like, if I want to be playing at like a high stakes tournament, I probably should be bringing a slightly more serious deck, right? So moving forward, we'll see sort of what deck rings my bell and what I like to play. But for now, you know, Lucci has done his great work. You know, I'm very happy with the leader. I'll still definitely record content for, like, games here and there. But in terms of, like I said, being as competitive as possible, if it were the case, I should probably run a different deck. All right, so we are recording from our phone here. So if there is a little bit of audio difference or video quality difference, that's exactly why. So let's take a look in terms of what we got here. So 3 OP10 packs. This. Oh gosh, can I open this? All right. We got, was it 3 OP9? 3 OP9 packs. We got 2 regional packs, 1 event pack, and then because we got 360, we got another event pack. So basically 2 event packs and 2 regional packs. Let's open, I guess, the OP09 first, because this is probably the most basic looking one. Oh. Now, mind you, I am still one-handed, so we played regionals one-handed. See here. Beppo, Morley, what's that, Usopp? Sure, Teach, Jozu, Jump Rope, Rockstar, Eustace, Thunder, Lance, Flip, Caliber, Phoenix Shot, Lucky Roo, and a Lafitte. All right, that's fine. Maybe we hit a Lucky SR. Maybe. Nico Olivia, Brooke, Red Force, what is that, Sanji? Peachbeard, just Event, Bonk Punch, Kabaji, Karasu, Tony Chopper, Yasop, and a Von Augur. Okay, a lot of Shanks and a lot of Blackbeard. Interesting. I didn't play a single Blackbeard at regionals, but I know there were a few Blackbeards at all. Blackbeard versus Lucci is a very hard matchup, though. I don't know how it can win that unless they just don't see Liberation at all. Oh, we saw something a little. I think it's a SR. So Marco, or whoever this guy is, Howlin' Gabe, Thousand Sunny, Monster, Bello Betty, Black Vortex. Hey, this carried us in the Zoro matchup. Kuma, I don't even know what that is. Murder at the Steam Bath? I don't know if anyone runs that. Oh, I guess you guys already saw it, but Shiryu, whatever this event is. If your leader's Odyssey and you have 2 or more listed characters, up to one of your... Oh, okay, so it's just a counter. And then, yep, we guys saw it. It is the Sanji. Very nice. All right. Let's open these OP10 packs. I'm actually, like, very excited to open OP10 because I know that there's a lot of very valuable singles in here, right? Like, the Shigi has gone up in price. What is it? The Tony Chopper and the Sanji has gone up in price. So if we at least get those nice SRs, then, you know, maybe we get something back. Buffalo, Inazuma, Brooke, Frankie, Little Black Bears, Usopp, Brooke, Mancherry, Kinmon, Zoro, Marco, and Violets. So not super nice. I don't know. Is this Marco playable in UI Nami coming up? I have no idea. If you do play UI Nami, do let me know if that's a card you end up running. I don't think you guys run it. I think you guys have a lot better cards, especially with the new starter deck coming out for, what is it, Ace and Whitebeard? Yeah? You guys probably have some nice cards there other than the Odin, I think. All right. Oh, yeah, also Cavendish has gone up in price too. So we had a Cavendish, you know. Very nice. So, Brownbeard, Diamante, Bartolomeo, Scotch, Events, Scotch Minapoo, Dragon, Cub, what is that, Gum Gum? I'm not gonna even try to read that. Caesar the Clown, Smiley, and a Doflamingo. Okay, I wonder if anyone even runs this in UP. Now that people still play, what is it? Blue Purple Luffy. But it's like, do Blue Purple Luffy's, like, are they still coping? Are they running the Dofi package? Like, I don't think so. I don't think the Dofi package is that good in UP, so yeah, you know, we'll see. I just don't think it's that good. But I guess when results for Toronto Regionals actually come out, like maybe deck list will come out, so maybe we'll see. Wolf, Kinmon, Inazuma, Bartolomeo, Sengoku, an event, Frankie, Momonosuke, an event, Caribou, Bege, and a Kuzan. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Otherwise, I think there was like, what, maybe I saw like one green yellow law, but I don't think they made it very far for placements. Let's open the event packs first. So there's like 1 of 4 cards I think you can get for the event pack. Fingers crossed we get a nice one. All right, first one. Ooh, 2K Law. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, another promo card. And we are getting, hey, another Law. Okay, nice. So 1 for collection, and I guess 1 can pretty much go out to some sales. So, regionals. So, the only thing I learned about regionals is that there are stamped versions of regional cards, and it literally says the word stamped on it. If we do get one, I'll show you. Otherwise, there's no way for me to actually show you what a stamped regional card looks like. Okay, we got a Bonnie. Not bad. So this Bonnie is not stamped, which means it's basically just foiled, not textured. And our last regional pack. Hopefully we hit something. I heard that the Kitten Killer is actually worth a lot. So if we can get the Kitten Killer, that'd be very, very nice. Oh, we actually got the Kitten Killer. Nice. So we're going to look to immediately sell this one because apparently based on the market, it's very, very high. So we'll sort of see what's up with that if we can actually get a buyer for this. All right, otherwise, that concludes everything from my packs that I got from regionals. From here, it's pretty much our deck list. So see you guys for that. 5 and 5 at regionals. What was it? I got 360 out of 861 people, which honestly isn't too bad for first-time regional. And especially if I'm bringing Lucci into a completely unfavored meta. I think I did pretty well for what it was. I'm decently confident that if I did bring a meta deck in the future for regionals, I think I'd do a lot better. But we'll figure that out when we actually decide to play a more meta deck. Otherwise, let's talk about my matchups. And I'm going to briefly run over them in terms of if you are in a scenario like in this matchup as Lucci, how you should play it. And in addition to that, sort of, I'll go over the matchup in terms of key turns that happened. So my first round was a Zoro. I did win the dice roll there, and we went second into Zoro. 2 core things that happened during that matchup. The first one was that on Zoro's 5 Dawn turn, he plays Cavendish for 5 Dawn, restands 2, and I talked to the Zoro player after, and they said that they did not have a Koshiro. So if the Zoro did play Koshiro, I'd be in pretty big trouble. But because the Zoro didn't have a Koshiro, he had a single 5-cost Cavendish on the board. So for me, very, very easy to clear. In addition to that, they were a little, I would say, like, they kind of rushed the turn because they ended up swinging at us 9 to lead. And then, 9 to character, then 9 to lead. And then they used restand event and then swung another 9. And then they restand event again to swing another 9. But I think I had like 1 or 2 blockers on board and I had 2 life, which nothing wrong with that. By all means, if I'm bricked, right, like you get the game if all the swings go through. But I just thought it was very aggressive, right? Like to take such an aggressive turn like that, by all means, like, If it works out for you, it works out. But it was a little too aggressive, and I did have more than enough counter in hand to sort of block one or two of those swings. So we did end up beating the Zoro player there. I would say, though, in terms of a godsend, the Black Vortex for the Zoro matchup specifically is insanely good. Especially if they swing 8. Being able to use Tudon plus Black Vortex and negate the leader restand ability, absolutely fantastic. Very, very useful. In terms of my second round, I got a bye. So I didn't actually play against anyone. And because it was a bye, I got an instant win. So very, very sick. Very, very cool. In terms of my third round, I played a Shanks. And I'm going to be honest, everyone playing like Siu's control Shanks list, I swear. Like everyone was control Shanks that I played. And to be honest, if they played regular, like OP, what was it? OP 11 Shanks, where they're mainly focusing on just playing big bodies, like the 4-cost Tony Chopper blocker, maybe even using a 5-cost Luffy or a 4-cost Zoro from the starter deck. If it was like that Shanks list, I'd be doing very well. But because it's a control list, they're playing Marcos, they're playing Red Force, they're playing Rayleighs, they're playing, what was the other one? Newgates, and especially the 10-cost Bomb Shanks. Like, absolutely ruins me. And sure, it's a battle between like who has the most control, but even so, like that matchup is brutal. Oh my gosh, it is hard. So Shanks versus Lucci, ignore what the data says. It may say like 60-40 or like 65-45. I'm telling you right now, like against a control Shanks list, it feels like 70-30. Honestly, maybe even like 80-20. It feels hard. But then again, like maybe the Shanks that you guys are playing or somebody else is playing, like those Shanks brick. But the Shanks that I played against, 3 Beckman, 2 Bomb Shanks. Yo, they were not missing. So that's totally fine. You know, Shanks is Shanks. It's a hard deck to play against. Here it is. Now, I would say probably Lucci's like hardest matchup outside of Blackbeard is going to be Kuzan. And for my fourth round, I played against Kuzan. Lost dice roll. I went first. And especially with Kuzan, playing 6-cost Kuzan freezing a character, rough. Kuzan's now we're playing Jozu, so they bounce either Laboon or they bounce 4-cost Kuzan back to my hand, and then they get a big body on the board. It's like absolutely brutal. And even playing just like the Monkey D Garp on 8 or even on 9, right? And then they play 2 8-cost bodies out. It's like, man, it is hard to deal with. Absolutely brutal because you can't remove both bodies. So you're going to take an 8 to face regardless. Like, and there's only so much in our hand that we have, right? So like based on the long game, Kuzan will always beat us based off of hand size because they're always like trashing and cycling hand and filtering hand. And constantly swinging like 8s at our face, 9s at our face. And we're forced to give out counter because we can't play too many blockers. So Kuzan versus Lucci, that matchup feels like almost impossible. Feels just as bad as like playing in the buggy. But basically like no buggies at Toronto Regionals. So that's nice because they're all scared of the Zoro players. And honestly, there were a ton of Zoro players. I would say I didn't face a single Rayleigh. Where's my Rayleigh? I wanted to play Rayleigh. Because I checked my list specifically for Rayleigh. I'm getting off track. Sorry. We're talking about my 5th round now. And I pair surprisingly into a Lucci mirror. Now, tips for the Lucci mirror. There's one core card that basically instantly wins this matchup. And that's 5-cost Sabo. And if you have 5-cost Sabo, you can play the matchup with ease. Because the KO protection helps you get online, helps you get tempo back. Because if they KO the Sabo, you just Rebecca Sabo, bring it back from the dead, right? And you're back, you're up. But my opponent's list did not have a 5-cost Sabo, and I went second. So not only did he not have Sabo, so he had no way of gaining tempo back. Like 8 Dawn, here's Jack. 10 Dawn, here's 10-cost Kuzan. And it's brutal. Absolutely rough to play with. So we ended up beating the mirror. Very, very cool. 6th, we played another Shanks. And with this Shanks, because the other Shanks bricked a little bit, but you know, because you play Beckmans and Tankox, it's rough. This guy hit like perfect curve. Lucky Roo on 4. Newgate on 6. Rayleigh on 8. And then Bomb Shanks on 10. And mind you, the Bomb Shanks he had, he searched from first turn from Uta turn 1. And then he was like, oh, and I was like, I played my Tenko's Kuzan, right? On like my finally 10 down turn because I went first. Then he says like, oh no, I might have the 10 cost Bomb Shanks. You know, you never know. I'm just like, brother, you searched it. And he was like, oh yeah, I did search it. So then he played it out and then it KO'd the Kuzan. But no, that matchup, hard. Lucci vs Shanks, especially control Shanks, hard. The next matchup after that was Zoro. And I did lose that matchup despite winning dice roll and going second. But the reason I lost, not that like it would have made a difference because playing Zoro is like a really, really hard matchup. I didn't realize Yukimaru had another line of text. I thought he just had the when attacking effect, rest a 5 cost. But he has an extra line of text that literally says, cannot be KO'd by effects when active. I did not read that, so I misplayed swinging and playing Brook trying to KO. And then he said resolve. And I was like, hold up. I looked at Yukimaru and I was like, oh. So, you know, I lost that because I misplayed a turn. And because I misplayed, it kind of just like added on to that. So it gained tempo back. Very, very rough. But that's totally fine. For our 8th turn, we got a bye. Free win. It is what it is. For our 9th turn, we play another Kuzan. So because we played another Kuzan, we lost. And then for our last turn, we played a Zoro. We got to go second against the Zoro. And with this, the Zoro did not see their Tashigi. They didn't even see Koshiro. So we got very lucky. We just built board, cleared board, try to bait out black vortexes and blockers and stuff. So for us, very, very fortunate that we were able to get that win, ending our regional run at 5-5.